Okay, folks, time for another, kind of a quickie uh, video. Now, recently I purchased a Cricut cutting machine, and I did that to expand my little market business to include t-shirts and decals. And one of the first ones that I created was a decal for my son, a t-shirt for my son and my daughter-in-law, so they have super dad and super mom. And basically, what they look like, if I switch over to my computer, there's the Super Dad. And, you know, I based this on another design that I found. And I had one that was basically Super Mom. And it was great for Mother's Day. But when I tried to recreate it for Father's Day, didn't quite work. So hopefully this gets out to you in time for Father's Day if you want to try this. It's kind of cool. So I'm going to show you how to create this. So I'm going to start with the basic shield. Right, there's a shield that I have. So let's hide the red for now. But I want to turn my blue into lawn mode. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I want to write the word super in here. So let's check my font. And I believe it was that font. So okay, and we turn that into so we can actually see it. And I think I've made this all uppercase. It looks nice. Oh, there it is. Looks nice uppercase. Okay, it's about the right size. But I also want to add dad on there. Now, what I want to do is I want to squish this. I'm going to use my vertical spacing and I'm going to squish it down about there. Just make sure this is centered on this vertical center. Okay. Now, since the text is together, I can rotate it a a lot, depending on what you want to do. And it's a little bit too much. There we go. And I've moved it around, so I want to make sure it's still in the center vertically. Okay, so now temporarily, I'm going to change my text to be green. I'm going to turn it back a little bit later. I want to actually cut out everything. So I'm going to take my text and I'm going to use my outline tool. And I want to go outward. Probably 2 should work just nicely. And that's okay. Now it's still in green, but I can change that to blue. Now, when you look at this, how much spacing do you actually want all your around your text? If that looks like too much, then we can always undo. And let's try this again. And let's just go 1.5. Always go decimals, right? You don't have to stick with whole numbers. Okay, once again, I want to turn it to blue. And that's okay, but I think I'm going to do one more little thing, one more check here. When I do this, I want to do outer shapes only. I have a bunch of little holes in there. And I can get rid of the holes. That's not a problem. I can just ungroup that outline and delete what I want. But let's just try outer shapes only. Once again, I'll use my blue. Now, I have some stuff in here. Well, you're going to see a magic trick in a little bit. So for now, I'm going to hide my green layer. Now, I want to take all of this. Oops, take all of that. And I know there's Boolean tools down here, but I really prefer going up here to my Boolean assistant. And I can see, do I want that subtract? or that subtract? Well, since I want the text to appear, I'm going to choose subtract A minus B. Now, it depends on how you select your A object and your B object. You want to use one of these select tools. So I'm going to select this, go OK, and I'm going to turn my green text back on, and I'm going to make it blue, and I can turn it into fill. And okay, well, that may not have been the best. Maybe too much rotation, and maybe I need to bring it up a little bit. So let's just undo a few things here. Okay, and let's just take this up a little bit. I want to make sure it's still centered. This is the whole idea of designing. You want to be able to get this in the right position at the right spot. Okay, so now let's do my offset tool again. 1.5 is okay. Let's just bring this down to like 1.25. Just bring it down a little bit. And use my blue, hide my green layer. And now I'm going to select my shield and go to my Boolean assistant. Now remember, when I selected everything and grouped it all, depending how you group it, you get one grouping. So I want to subtract from my shield this time. And bring in my text, turn it to blue, and make sure my blue is all on fill. And maybe that's a little too high. So I want you to get used to playing with this text. Get it where you want it to. Okay, just so that you can see. Now you could also try selecting both and centering it. Now, well, that's a little too low, but I can use that as a starting point and move that up. That's good. Now let's go to my offset tool. I'm going to leave it at 1.25. Okay. Blue, hide my green, and do my Boolean assistant again. And since I selected everything, it took the A was the actual text, and then the B was the shield. So turn that on. It's back to blue. Turn this to fill. And what's it? You can play with this. Now, if I were to show my original, once again, you can see that, oh yeah, actually my text, my font was a little bit bigger, but that's okay. Once again, you want to get this to your taste, right? So if I were to just go back and make this text a little bit bigger, make sure it's centered again. Okay, let's see my red so I can see where it is. See, so it's how high it is. So I was going to bring this down. About there. And I'm going to offset again. Okay. Change it to blue. Hide my green. Do my Boolean assistant. Subtract. blue, fill, and now it's closer to what I had before. Okay, so that, and you can do this with, instead of Super Dad, you can actually start with your shield, and instead of Super Dad, you go Super Mom or Super Kid or Super Aunt or Super Papa, Super Mama, you know, depending on what text that you want to use. So remember, when you're designing, you always don't take the first chance. You see, I did multiple attempts to get the design that I wanted, and that's what you want to look for. You want to get something that you think you can use, and you design it, and once you have that, you actually save it. So when I brought in the Super Dad part, that's a saved SVG, and I can use that or reuse it. I actually took that SVG, imported it into my Cricut design space, and put it on a t-shirt. So something you can look at doing. You can even use these for coasters, water bottles, mugs, whatever for your Father's Day gifts. So thank you for watching, and you know, I hope you continue to play and experiment with your design so that you get the design that you want. So be sure to check out some of my other videos on using the offset tool, as well as some other tools that I have tested out in Lightburn. So take care, everyone. See you soon. Bye-bye.